7, right? I am medium dad. And you know how I got dubbed that, right? I married medium mom. If you read the little dossier that the Lamp put out, it said Erica's been reading for people since she was 7 years old. Now that is absolutely true. Me and my wife, Dana, didn't recognize it at that, but what I can tell you is when she was in 2nd grade, my wife got a telephone call from a parent, and she had just lost her husband. And my daughter said to this little girl who lost her father, which is a tragedy in itself, to a heart attack. The whole community was busted up about it. And Erica went to this little girl and said, your dad told me to tell you he's sorry he had to leave, but you and your mom are going to be okay, and he'll be watching over you. Now, she didn't do this once. She did it twice. So the phone rings one day after school. My wife picks up the phone, and it's the widow. And she is not happy, and we understood why she wasn't. And she said, could you please tell Erica to not do that anymore? So obviously we had to approach our daughter and say, why are you doing this? You see the why for a 7-year-old kid. And she said, they tell me to say that. So the next incident that I can tell you about is about 4 years later. Now she's 11 years old. My maternal grandmother passes away, who she was very close with. It was her great-grandma. Her great-grandma would come over and bathe her and feed her and do all the things. And her name was Mimi. That's what we called her. And Mimi passes away. A few weeks after the funeral, everybody's asleep in the house. Erica is standing at the foot of our bed shaking my wife's leg. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What's the matter? You automatically think your daughter had a nightmare, right? Mimi is in my room, she says. We say, what? What are you talking about? Mimi's in my room and she won't leave. Now, if you read the dossier, Erica has some clairvoyancy. And she could look at you and see your color. She could see what mood you're in. Your color would go from white to a bit of a gray color as your mood changed. You ever see mood rings and that type of thing? Those things work sometimes. But as we questioned her about this incident, now this is 5 years later. I'm trying to put food on the table and keep a roof over our head. And people say, well, why didn't you recognize these things? What do you say to it? But see, now I have to race along this timeline. Erica grew up in a little town about 10 miles southwest of here called Liberty Borough. Is anybody familiar with that? Okay, South Allegheny School District? Okay, so she graduated in 2001. She was a good student, and after she graduated, she went to the Indiana University of Pennsylvania, IUP, as we all know it, right? In the first couple of semesters, I was looking at her grades. She was a good student, and her grades were coming down. So I called her. I said, hey, what's going on? She said, oh, Dad, I'll pick them up, I'll pick them up, I'll pick them up. And I called my wife, and I said, are you looking at this? And my wife says to me, you know, I think IUP stands for I usually party. And I said, that's why the grades are slipping. So, like I said, all through high school, all through college, we don't see many revelations of anything else happening. So, as we kept going along this timeline, Erica graduated from IUP in 2006 and took a job in Cincinnati. Moved from Cincinnati to Harrisburg. Moved from Harrisburg back to Monroeville, where she lives today. And when she moved into that house, you know, you have the home inspections and all the good things that you have. And she kept calling me and saying, Dad, I keep popping light bulbs in this house. And as a father, you think there's something wrong with electricity or worry about the house burning down. And it kept happening. 1 month, 12 light bulbs. 12. So as parents, now she's an adult. And I'm thinking, what in the heck is going on here? And I'm thinking, It's got to be the electricity, the switches, the bulbs, the fixtures, something's going on. Well, then we finally hit the world of Google search. I Google popping light bulbs, human energy, all these things, and you start coming up with a type of, actually a prototype of what causes human energy. Yeah, and if you learn what I have researched out, we are all, every one of us, sitting in the front row, second row, third row, we are all vibes. We are all human energy. It's what moves me across this stage. There's something going on here with her energy. Now I have the link between human energy and the color blue. All right, and I'm thinking, this is the first time through the research, and this is all done on a computer and a book that I'm looking at. And I'm linking it to psychic medium. And I'm thinking, is this what's going on? Because you keep looking backwards to the things that happened before, that indicated things to you that you weren't really recognizing, and it wasn't really that revealing of a sign. So now, picture this. I go to bed one night, and the TV's on. I wake up the next morning, and the TV's still on, which is unusual for me, because I usually set the timer. Okay? And I'm looking at the TV, it's about 6:30 in the morning, which is early for me, and there's a young lady talking to a gentleman on the couches, you know, like Good Morning America, that type of thing. And this young man, 35, 40 years old, is just weeping. And this woman is just giving him information after information after information. This is the time of DVRs. And the DVR, I turn it back, and it just so happens that there's a psychic medium reading for this guy. And the psychic medium is on the show promoting her book. And the story went like this. She was reading for him, and he was an Iraqi war veteran. And they were in a firefight, gunfire everywhere. And he started yelling for his buddy who was at his shoulder, and his buddy was down, dead. This is what she's telling this young man as he sits there and weeps. The name of the book, I'll give it to you, is called The Light Between Us. And the light between us is what I mentioned before, our energy that connects us all together. Okay? And what you learn when you read this book was written by a very noted psychic medium from Long Island, New York. No, it's not Teresa. It's Laura Lynn Jackson. And if you read her stuff, she is just one of the best. And what she tells you in this book, the reason the souls come to a medium, their light from up in the heavens shines brighter than our light. The souls are attracted to that. And that's why the messages go to them. So at this time, I would like to introduce my daughter, the Three Rivers Medium.